So today we're talking about the things I wanted to see in the Superman movie. Now, I did this video about a year ago, so my expectations might be different. If you saw my first review I did a couple of days ago, I actually was a little harsh on the movie. After seeing it the second time, or a third time now, it's so much better the second time. And I'll go through that in another video, but for today, we're going through the video that I did a year ago. That up is because movies are in trouble. And if this Superman movie doesn't do well, I don't think we're going to get another DC universe. I don't think we're going to get another Superman trilogy or whatever. And I really want this film to succeed. So with that being said, I have put together 7 things as a Superman fan and as a movie fan, really, that I want to see in this new James Gunn movie, David Cornsweet leading as Superman. I want to see these 7 things implemented in the movie. The first thing I want to see in this new Superman movie that would make me happy as a Superman fan is a new villain. So technically we did get a new villain in live action. We got Ultraman, which I think a lot of people can assume or can speculate that it's going to be Bizarro in the future, because I guarantee you he's not dead, or at least Lex Luthor's gonna make another clone. So maybe Bizarro is the second clone that Lex Luthor makes, because as he said, it's not a perfect clone. And I'm sure that if he gets out, when he gets out of prison, he's going to try again. So one of those two things could be true and probably is going to be true. So there's been a ton of Superman movies of live action. If you go back to the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, Superman Returns, Man of Steel, that's pretty much all we got. And we have shows like Smallville, Clark and Lois, that bring us live action versions. But as far as live action movies, I think we need a new villain, whether it's Brainiac, Bizarro. I don't want to see Zod right away again, because we've seen that already. Lex Luthor is very welcome in this film. Obviously, you always need to have Lex Luthor, but I don't want him to be the main villain in this. He can be in the movie and have a role in it, but I don't think that he should be the main villain in this movie. Okay, so I was terribly wrong there. Lex Luthor being in this film, or being the main villain, is what makes it so good. And I think I was with Batman or Superman, or a lot of heroes that get a lot of adaptations, they tend to use their main villain more than any other, and they kind of don't give any other villain any love. I think Spider-Man does a really good job at giving all of his rogues gallery chances to shine. But for some reason, when it comes to Superman or Batman in live action, they tend to always want to do Joker or Lex Luthor. But I think this is the best adaptation of Lex Luthor that we've gotten, hands down, outside of Smallville's Michael Rosenbaum. I mean, they had 10 years to flesh him out. So there's a ton of great Superman rogues gallery members to pick from if we want to have a really good villain. You could do Mongol. Obviously, they've done Doomsday, and they did that super bad. That was a terrible adaptation of Doomsday. You can do Ultraman. I mean, I don't think that would be the best thing to do in a first movie. I think Parasite would be a good one. Tallow would be okay. But you'll see why in the list later that's not the best choice. Another really good one, you could even do Lobo. I think he's sweet. I think he'd be a great villain. Even this guy, I mean, he is a Kryptonian killer. I think that would be pretty cool if he comes in, he's a bounty hunter, he's looking for Superman. Just to sum up, still would be super cool, actually. A new villain for this movie we haven't seen before. The second thing I want in this movie to make me happy, it can be said by Superman himself or somebody else. I want the classic phrase, "This looks like a job for Superman." So we didn't get that in the film. We didn't get Superman saying, "This looks like a job for Superman." I think it would have been so cool, and it was already so comic booky, that it would have been so cool if someone were to say that, or Superman were to say. I mean, Superman saying it is a little more cheesy. I mean, but if someone else said it, ooh, that would be so good. Oh, I hope it happens.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Goes way back to when he was first introduced in the comics. I think that's a great phrase. I think you can add that into this movie without it being super cheesy. I think you can make it sound really cool. My favorite part of movies today is when they have a little nostalgia in there on top of a great story, great writing, great acting. This looks like a job for Superman. You better put that in there, James Gunn. The third thing I want to see as a Superman fan in this new movie is I want to see the Fortress of Solitude. However, I want to see additional Superman suits in the Fortress of Solitude, kind of like what they do with Batman's Batcave or even Iron Man's garage or whatever you want to call it. I just think it would be cool to see some other suits, especially because James Gunn has adapted the Kingdom Come logo for his main look. I think it'd be cool to see that, even though this is going to be an early Superman. So in the film, I actually love the Fortress of Solitude. It looks amazing. It would have been cool if we would have gotten additional Superman suits in the background, like don't even have to put a bunch of detail in there, but just so we know that maybe he switched it up a little bit, I think it would be cool. But I am super happy with the Fortress of Solitude. Very accurate to the source material, and it was great. But he's been Superman for a little bit, so it'd be cool to see that he's had some other uniforms. Number 4 thing that I want to see in this Superman movie is him doing daily activities at the Daily Planet. An adaptation of why he works at the Daily Planet and his day-to-day. I mean, I don't want it to be all of Daily Planet and Clark Kent, but I just think we need a little bit more than what we've gotten in the past. So in the film, in the Superman movie, you really only get one scene of Clark Kent as the identity, or as the secret identity. And honestly, I wasn't disappointed with the lack of Clark Kent. I think we'll get more in the future, but for this film and also the Batman film that came out in 2022, we didn't get a bunch of Bruce Wayne, and in this film, we didn't get a ton of Clark Kent. I'm okay with that for this film. I hope that they have a little bit more screen time for Clark Kent's identity in the next films, but for this film, didn't bother me at all. Going with that, number 5 is I want to actually witness his relationship with Jimmy Olsen. I feel like I've been told that him and Jimmy Olsen are such great friends, but I've never really seen it outside of the comics and some TV shows. I think it would serve them well if they make that trio of Lois Lane, Clark Kent, and Jimmy Olsen being a team. I know he's supposed to be Lois's partner, but I think putting them and making them look like good friends, like we're told that they are. So we can check that one off. I thought that they did a great job, especially their little banter. It was only really 1 or 2 scenes, but I think they did a very good job at adapting Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane as actually contributing to the plot and actually being valuable to Superman's team. So I was super happy with that. Check that off the box. Would serve this movie well. So I would like to see that. The number 6 thing I want to see in this movie to make me happy as a Superman fan is actually the lack of kryptonite. What I mean by that is I do want to see kryptonite in it, hint at it, have Lex Luthor have it, whatever, but I don't want kryptonite to be the main thing that powers him down. I feel like his kryptonite weakness is way overused, and too many people know about it. Too many people have access to it in other movies and media. Kryptonite is supposed to be a rare thing, and people aren't just supposed to know that it's his weakness. It's supposed to be a very low-key thing, and only a couple people know about it, like Batman and Lex Luthor himself. So I guess, I think what I meant by this is I don't want kryptonite to be a huge plot point. The way that they adapted it with Metamorpho was genius, I think. Because I loved I loved that whole scene. I'm super happy with it. It wasn't like the main thing that the way Lex Luthor took him down. So they didn't rely on that, and it wasn't lazy writing. I thought it was actually very creative, and I was super happy with it. So I'm grateful that that kryptonite in this movie is not so easily accessible. So that's why he had to get Metamorpho to create the kryptonite, because he couldn't find any. And I'm grateful that James Gunn went that route, because in some shows, like I love Smallville, but oh my gosh, kryptonite is in every inch of that town. And the number 7 thing, last but certainly not least, this is probably what I want to see in the movie the most. And maybe I'm cherry picking here, but I want to see better use of his powers. And what I mean by that is, number 1, I want to see his ice breath. I loved the use of his powers. I don't think he used his ice breath. I mean, in the pocket dimension, was it, I couldn't tell if it was his ice breath or just his super breath. He used his super breath to save that dog. And he actually never used his super hearing. He only used his X-ray vision once. I mean, as long as we get it in the future, I'll be happy. I do love just seeing him use his ice breath makes me super happy because I just feel like it's a neglected power that is super cool. Like, why don't more people use it? So, didn't get that. It was probably my number one thing, but that's just a fan service thing that I wanted. And just because they didn't put that in there doesn't mean I'm like super disappointed. I hope that they adapt it more in the future because I think it's cool, but it's whatever. See that in movies. I feel like it's very forgotten about and it's not touched on. It's such a cool power. I wish that they would show that more often. So I want to see ice breath. I want to see more of him using X-ray vision, super hearing, and things of that nature. I think it's really cool when you have scenes like in Public Enemies when he he's like, I heard a gorilla's heartbeat. So
that was a cool scene.
Use super hearing more often, use X-ray vision, and it also makes me think like when there were certain scenes in the movie, I was like, couldn't Superman just hear that? Because there are sometimes like if you've read certain comics or watched certain shows, like his hearing is so OP that like again, he heard a gorilla's heartbeat, or he could hear Bruce Wayne's heartbeat when he's buried underground. Definitely use ice breath. I think heat vision. Anyway, super hearing, super cool. Ice breath, super cool. Didn't use those two. I guess you have to save something for the future, right? There you have it. Those are the 7 things that I would like to see in the new James Gunn Superman movie coming out next year. That would make me happy as a Superman fan. Even if I'm comparing this movie to a year ago, it actually matched most of my expectations. If it didn't, I think it only missed 2 of them, right? Comparing this movie to what I wanted a year ago, it actually did a very good job at adapting kind of exactly what I wanted. You saw my initial reaction review when I only saw the movie once. I was actually a little harsh on the movie because my expectations were so high. Putting together a new reaction because I've seen it 3 times now, and I have a video with a buddy of mine that we talk about our theories and just what we thought about the film in general. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for all things